My partner of 2 years thinks I'm cheating on him. I am not. Help. Just a bit of context. We've been together for 2 years. He has 2 kids. I have 1 child. Irrelevant to this story. We live apart. I bought a home a few months before we started dating and only spend time together when our kids are with their other parent. He is the person who has treated me the best out of all my relationships, and I love him dearly. I'm a chronically anxious and stressed person, and he's absolutely my peace. However, today he surprised me with this. He's convinced I'm cheating on him. The reason he suddenly started thinking this is because 2 days ago, I wanted to show him something on my phone. There was an irrelevant tab open, my Hotmail account that's full of spam. I've had it for 24 years, but mostly use Gmail. He saw very briefly that there was a folder with a man's name, let's say James. I don't remember why that folder exists. It's empty, and I haven't touched it in 15 years. I have no idea why it was created in the first place. It might have served some purpose long ago. Now he's convinced that. I closed the tab too quickly. I was acting weird, nervous, and suspicious. Therefore, I must have cheated or be actively cheating. That's his perspective. Now here's the truth. I am absolutely not cheating on him. He's the man of my dreams, the love of my life, and I've never given him any reason to suspect I'm unfaithful. I spend an entire week at his place when I'm with him, and I never hide my phone. When I'm at my house, I'm with my child, and my time is 100% devoted to her. I also work a lot. There isn't a single moment in my life where I'd have time to devote to another person, even through email. In my downtime, I'm at home with my child and our cat, watching YouTube. I send him lots of pictures of me relaxing with my cat, and we have constant communication. I'm very talkative via text. Anyway, at first I was extremely upset and confused. Why on earth would he not trust me? What is happening? No matter what I say, he insists I don't make sense, and he claims he's simply adding 1 + 1 to get 2. I keep telling him he's the one who isn't making sense. We went back and forth over text, and he doesn't even want to talk on the phone or come over in person to discuss it. I sent him numerous screenshots of my email showing unopened messages that go back more than a year. I sent screenshots of me typing James in the search bar with no results. I showed him the completely empty sent folder, which is odd since I've sent many emails over the years, but it's somehow empty. I even gave him my login and password so he could look for himself. I've accumulated a lot of junk in that account over the years, but I rarely use it now. It's mostly for Amazon orders, McDonald's app receipts, and spam emails. I'm upset that he doesn't trust me. He says he needs time to think. Now I'm stuck in a loop of feeling upset, confused, and sad. What's going on? Help. Update. It did not end well. After 48 hours of back and forth texting, because he refused to speak to me over the phone or face-to-face, and after giving him my password so he could see that nothing suspicious was going on, he still wouldn't let it go. By then, his behavior was so concerning that I started to wonder if he might be having a mental health crisis. He was texting me at all hours, trying to make sense of something that simply doesn't make sense. So, I blocked him. When he realized that, he emailed me at my work address, asking me to check my Hotmail again, which showed no changes. After I blocked his email, he messaged my best friend telling her, "If I can't talk to her, I'll go through you instead." My friend has nothing to do with this and never replied. She's supporting me because she sees how irrational he's acting. I thought that was the end of it. Yesterday at work, I was visibly sad and distressed, and my team offered support. I had lunch with a good friend and colleague. At the end of the day, I got off work at 4 o'clock. I was walking to my car in the parking lot with 2 colleagues explaining the situation. They headed to one colleague's car, they carpool, and I walked to mine, which was parked 2 rows away. I suddenly heard a loud man's voice behind me. I turned around, and it was him. He was walking quickly toward me, still ranting about emails. I held up my hand and said, "I'm not doing this with you right now," while trying to assess whether it was safe to approach my car. He began yelling at me, calling me horrible names. I'd never seen him act like this before. I felt a sudden urge to turn around and return to my colleague's car. I was shaking and scared. I got in her car and started hyperventilating. They told me, "We'll drive you home." He was about 6 feet away, glaring and motioning for me to get out. We drove off. I kept apologizing to them, crying, and looking back to make sure he wasn't following. When I arrived home, my mother was there. I broke down, and she called the police. A kind officer told me on the phone, "I have nothing else going on right now. You're my priority, and I'm coming as soon as I can." He came to my home, took my statement, was extremely patient and understanding, and explained everything he would do next. My ex was placed under arrest for criminal harassment with certain conditions. I'm not entirely sure of the legal terms, but they didn't handcuff him or take him to jail. It was more of a formal notice, and he will likely be summoned to court at a later date. I have a strong support network, and I believe I'm safe. Thank you to everyone who has offered help. Edit. I just had a 2-hour conversation with his ex, let's call her Jess. Not the mother of his kids, but the woman he dated between the kid's mother and me. It was very enlightening. She experienced nearly the same situation, except she never called the cops. She said he was extremely controlling, physically and verbally abusive to his 2 sons, had a serious drug habit, and maintained an unhealthy, borderline inappropriate relationship with the mother of his children. He was also psychologically and sexually abusive toward Jess. She said he used to put her on a pedestal just like he did with me, but he had many behavioral issues, which I noticed but chose to ignore because I loved him. I hope he gets the help he needs.